a straight question. Is there the next pandemic around the corner? Do we know anything about this? Which virus are you worried about? Before we get to the other part of it.
That's like once again looking into the crystal ball, but it's not as improbable as, it's not a vague anticipation. Yes, a pandemic. In fact, I once read an article where somebody said the next pandemic is just a flight away.
I hope
what
not.
they mean is, today bugs, as you remember the earlier SARS, it started in China and in no time it was in Canada because people travel so extensively across the globe. I mean, that's an extreme. But I think to believe that we are done and dusted with this pandemic and that maybe the next pandemic we can wait for the next century is a complete fallacy, I would say. And I think given the way the global warming, the climatic change, migration of animals, different behavior of the vectors that transmit disease, we humans, doing our part of the deforestation, encroaching into forested areas, it is fertile ground, literally, for a novel virus to jump an animal, from an animal host into human beings. And then we have an epidemic and a pandemic. Because when a novel virus jumps from an animal host to a human being, very often humans do not have the immunity to handle that new agent, and that's when the whatever the new bug is has a capacity to spread like fire.
Now, is it largely respiratory, or would it be any kind of other debilitating thing? I mean, this hit us where it hurt the most, our breath. Is there viruses that attack you on all other fronts, not necessarily just your lungs?
Yes, there are some that would choose non-respiratory routes, but viruses that spread to the respiratory route have the capacity to spread the maximum because one person can infect a number. In fact, in the WHO's list of future threats for the world at large, we have Nipah virus that Madam had just mentioned, Nipah and Hendra viruses. Then we have, I don't know how many of you have heard of Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. It actually came out of Crimea and then worked through through Eastern Europe, Middle East, and it has been detected in our own country, in Rajasthan and Gujarat.
We better watch out.
Luckily, it doesn't spread through the respiratory route so easily. Then we have, of course, Ebola, Marburg, Lassa. They are the deadliest of hemorrhagic fevers, and we know what it did to Africa in 2014. It was a horrible, horrible epidemic in the neighboring adjacent countries in Western Africa, Nigeria, Congo. And you must have also heard this year, it was doing its rounds in Sudan as well. So then you have Zika virus, an innocuous virus, but which can cause very far-reaching damage to a mother who is carrying a baby. The baby gets infected and then is born with a small brain and is, scarred for life, handicapped for life.
So that's the rogues list that you've just...
So I've not gone through the entire list, but just to give you a flavor of
you have to expect a virus era.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Virus era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So actually today WHO says the next is disease X.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
before this COVID-19 was detected, it was a disease X.
Yeah, and then COVID-19 became, the virus that causes COVID-19 became our disease X for the last 3 years. But there are many more X's and Y's perhaps in the future.